Hello and welcome to the Nürburgring Nordschleife for the 4 hours of Nordschleife, the third round of the 2022 EERC Endurance Championship. My name is Edward Hunter, and the next 4 hours on this fearsome circuit in the middle of the Eiffel Mountains are going to be quite entertaining action to watch, I can guarantee you that. So, as you can see, no chance of rain yet. And we've had 2 rounds already this season, this being the third one. The 6 hours of Barcelona, and of course the 8 hours of Silverstone last month. And of course we've still got the 6 hours of Interlagos, Bud in India, Petit Le Mans, Road America, Fuji, Imola and Bahrain to go. The 24 hours of Bahrain will see out the season. Of course, those of you watching Formula 1 will already be familiar with Bahrain as it's the opening round of the Formula 1 World Championship this season. But it's our final round, so we've got quite a few months to go until then. And here we are. Here is the Nürburgring Nordschleife. And there is the reading game number 72. Driven, of course, by Tom Dillon and company. And just negotiating the middle sector now. So we're in the middle of qualifying. 25 minutes left to go. And, of course, the laps here can be very, very long, especially in the GT cars. It can be up to like 9 minutes or so. But of course, the LMPs in LMP1, LMP2, they'll be getting in the sort of some of the LMP1s are in the very high 6-minute bracket, and a lot of the LMP2s are in the 7-minute bracket. So that should be about the times we'll be expecting from the three classes. And getting times in with such a long circuit is going to be a real challenge for these guys. Because we saw in the touring car race a week and a half ago, only 3 drivers setting a time from an admittedly small field. But it was really a case of you can't afford to reset too many times. If you make a mistake, you're going to have to live with that. And especially down these long straights, it could be quite punishing indeed. As we look at David Martin negotiating the circuit. Really having a good time, and there's such a elevation change here at the Nordschleife. I was looking, it's 300 meters up and down, I believe. Am I remembering that correctly? I must have a brief look to remind myself. I'm pretty sure it's 300 from the lowest point to the highest point on the circuit in terms of elevation. More than 300 meters, actually. So that's effectively 1,000 feet. And it is, of course, I think 12 or 15 miles long, this layout, including, of course, the GP loop, of course. Let's have a look at the live timing at the moment. Everyone on track at the moment, apart from Maykiel Cole, fitting to the points number 47, who's still in the pit lane. And everyone on the blue tyres, which are the softer qualifying tyres. And of course, again, another challenge for it being such a long, twisty, technical lap is keeping these tyres in the operating window. Because you effectively save Martin, of course, on the out lap at the moment. As he locks up a little bit. He's certainly going at a full pelt, though. So that's why it's often a little hard to tell compared to normal circuits with much shorter laps. Whether they're on an in-lap or an out-lap. But anyway, let's see if we got any LMP1s in the field. There is Zoltan Toth, who is just about to start his flying lap. So, if I can find the onboard controls, that'd be great, so we could ride on board a little bit with Zoltan Toth. But we'll have to do the outboard for now, I guess. As he goes through the... oh, there we go. Different first corner there. They don't use the full Mercedes-Benz arena. It's just the old chicane. Then they rejoin the rest of the normal Grand Prix track. And of course, originally, there was the Nordschleife, which goes a little bit further to the south and includes the Mullenbach corner. But this version of the GP loop just has the Saxon curve and Michael Schumacher S that we just saw Zoltan Top negotiate. Here we go through the Warsteiner curve. Oh, it's 2 wheels over the curb there, of course, so use as much of the track as he can. Here we go. Oh, the rear going, and Zoltan Top spins it in the LMH car, but keeps going. So a real slow speed, of course. The downfill's gone, and got onto the power, and the rear wheels just looped it around almost there. That's such a tricky thing, that sort of turn 13, essentially, of the track. And certainly Zoltan Top will be feeling that, hoping he gets another lap in. Of course, not such a big penalty for the LMH or LMP1s, because they've got a faster car underneath and they can get more laps in. But if you are, say, a GD car and you make that kind of mistake, it's going to be much more punishing. But anyway. Off continuing. Going down the long straight. This has been through Flugplatz and is in the have a look at the track map to see where exactly he is. Track map's down, which is not helpful. Really need to get a map out to figure out where everyone is. But certainly we are waiting for the first sector splits for Zoltan Toff. And Toff is about to come up to the GD3 traffic. There's Monier and Michael Cole, sorry. As we see, this looks like, yeah, he's in the, he's just about to come to Exmoor, which is the first split, I believe. Okay, Sector 1 for Zoltan Toff, yeah, 218.670. Meunier, interestingly, in his own, Meunier, of course, further up the road in the Team Iris car. Can't find him on the There's Valente in the LMP2 Iris. There's Meunier in the other Iris. So yes, 216.87. That's the purple time at the moment. And it certainly looks like he's flying out there. As expected, he was, these, of course, the winning team at the 8 Hours of Silverstone, championship leaders, of course, in a battle with Mugen and Valle and other teams in LMP1. The LMH or LMP1, I'll have to make up my mind on that. But, oh, look at the jump that Meunier negotiates there. The Iris looking very well set up to deal with the elevation changes, the bumps, the curbs on this Nordschleife layout. Get towards the end of the lap here. Let's see where Meunier is. He's just coming to the really long straight, which of course would be the Dottinger Ho. Of course, there is a big chicane coming up. He goes through Schrobbelschranz and Kleiner's Carousel. onto Dossinja Hole.
And you just cannot make a mistake at all on this track.
Oh,
One
hello,
mistake
Adam.
and it's over. Hello, Ed. How are we doing? Well, I guess it's morning for me, afternoon and evening for people
Sorry, I
across
didn't
the
hear you come
Atlantic.
in there. You just sort of snuck in.
I I just came in, so
Okay, there we go. So let's not hang around. Here we go through a Tiergarten chicane. Comes Loic Meunier. Of course, winner in Silverstone, as I was saying. And here goes rejoining the Grand Prix track. Let's see what time this is going to be. This is going to be the marker that the LMP1 LMH field is going to have to beat. So here we go. He crosses the line, goes top of the times, 6 minutes 49.3. So yeah, good effort by Loic Meunier, and he goes back to the pits as Toff should not be far behind on his own attempt, which was not looking as fast, although he did go a second faster in the middle sector. He was 2 seconds slower in the first sector. Here we go, crossing the line. What's it going to be? It's slower, 6:49.7, so only half a second in it after a 6 minute 49 lap. That is quite a contest, isn't it, Adam? We're looking between these two great teams of Iris and Mugen.
and the best part is that you can pretty much find that 310s pretty much anywhere on this track with how long it is. You know, it's one of the most, as Nicky Lauda put it, one of the most barbaric circuits in the world. In almost a 7 minute lap time in an LMH still shows that, you know, it takes a little bit of time to get through this track. So if you can find just a couple of tenths in each corner or at the start, he can definitely, Toth will definitely get pole position here.
Yeah, but of course there's another challenger in the LMH field, really flying right now, purple in both sectors, which is Jansen Bintz. Cruelly denied. Valet felt they were very hard done by at Silverstone in the 8 hours last month. And they said they're looking for revenge here, as we see the LMP2 set their first lap times. Ballet in the 33 Valet, fastest at the moment from Gazowski in the 40, and Evers in the 301 139. Here we go through Tiergarten comes Jansen Bintz, and the Valet looking very twitchy indeed, doesn't it, through the sudden direction changes that the chicanes offer. So let's see what time this is. It's looking very quick from the Valet. I think this is going to be provisional pole, Adam.
Very well could be. Does he get it? Yes, he does. 644.4. So now Bin's on top of the board with LMH, and now we're seeing some times come in for the LMP2 class.
Ooh, good luck by Tobias Blumschein in the 77 Iris, but just beaten by Valente in the sister car. Alessandro Valente, of course, who was driving in the touring car support race here about a week and a half ago for my team, Tibet Simulation, and got 2 third places despite bits of the car missing. So everyone will come out now with 13 minutes remaining to go. I guess this will see the second runs emerge, but we've still got the GT3 field where no one has made it to the line yet. In LMP1, only Bradley Sellers yet to set a time, as Listola has actually set a time about 17 seconds off the pace. So, but Bint's like miles ahead of anyone else at the moment. So you got to say, Valet looking good for overall pole position. LMP2 looking very, very close between the top 3, Varconi, Blumschein, Valente. But yeah, so Mugen and Iris battling in both for the top 2 classes. But GT3 very wide open as the top 3 teams in the championship haven't got any entries here. As Tibor Kiss powers towards the line, I think he will be. He's just behind Toff in the Paul Street Boys 753, who was also in the support race. So certainly GT3 looking very, very wide open, of course, with the usual favourites out of action. Here's the EFA Racing team, with Ricardo Riva at the wheel of the Corvette. Now, the Corvette not really been the car of choice so far this season, but EFA Racing team have struggled on with Nissim Alawi, a big asset in that team, as a Baskel into the points, number 48. Goes fastest on at 8 minutes, 8 minute 0.5. So they're actually a minute faster than I thought they were going to be, the GT3s. Looks like Ricardo Riva messed up near the end there, because he's looking very stationary. And that's a big shame for him, because Ricardo Riva was on pretty decent times, only a couple of seconds slower than the top guys there. But something going wrong there. Unfortunately, I can't access the onboards at the moment. So we're sort of stuck with the exterior shots, but I'll try and keep an eye on anyone going particularly quickly. Bradley Sellers, by the way, has just set a 4 fastest time faster than Listola by 2 seconds. So Rookie Monsters slowly getting their way back in the fight. We have seen Rookie Monsters being really strong in Barcelona, but they sort of dropped off. They sort of went missing at Silverstone after an early incident and never really recovered. So certainly looking like some of the teams have got it all to do here. Oliver Perikian has gone 4 fastest in the LMP2. Trying to pick up these guys, but we've got 30 cars to track on a very big circuit, so it's quite the logistical challenge of the direction. As we see Oliver Perikian leaving the pits. It's 29 cars, actually, I should say. Here's the slowest of them so far. The new reading game GD3 entry. That looks like a... what car does that look like to you, Adam? It looks like a Aston Martin to me, that reading game are going for. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's the Aston Martin. Just had to take a quick look at the front of the bonnet there, and
Joe Gossis is sliding a little bit, so I'm not sure that Aston is set up particularly well for the demands of the Nordschleife. And Adam, what do you think the big setup challenges that the Nordschleife presents? Obviously, with all this big elevation, how do the drivers deal with that?
Well, first off, it's definitely like making sure the suspension is correct to handle the bumps. Obviously, it's a very bumpy track, and you have 2 particular turns. You have those carousel turns, which are very difficult to actually keep in the line all the way through the corner. So you want to make sure that you have enough grip and enough mechanical grip to stay on that bottom line. Because if you actually fly off in the carousels, you can lose so much time because it's just marbles. There's no grip up on the top there. But if you are able to find the grip and get through the carousels quite quickly, you can actually gain so much time through there. But it's also just getting through the twisty turns. So there's not really a key to really a good setup, because this track is just all around, uses pretty much everything you can probably think of, aero to the max with the long straights that it has. Then you also have the really tight, twisty turns. So you got to make sure that the car is balanced well. So the Aston Martin's kind of an interesting pick. I think overall the BOP on it is not one of the greatest for this track.
And interestingly, Joe Gossis decides with GD3s having 9 minutes left in the session. Oh no, he is actually stopping. I thought he was going to do another lap there, but he goes 4 fastest in the number 27. Of course, the reverse of the sister LMP2 entry, the 72. Which is, where is the 72 in the order at the moment? It is near the very back. They're actually still setting a time, David Martin. So let's have a look. No, this is the outlap, of course. So nobody really, apart from Michael Cole, on a... I think Michael Cole actually might be in the pits as well. Nobody really on a flying lap then, but Martin might be the first. But we'll have to look at those first sector splits, really. 8 minutes left in the session. We should be seeing a lot of the first splits going through. Bradley Sellers has set a personal best first split somewhere, so I'm not sure if he is a bit further down the track. But David Martin starts his lap then for Reading Game, and they really need to get further into the top 10 here, because they're 4th in Silverstone, let's not forget. This is turning into a really promising season for Reading Game, and they were 2nd in 24 Hours of Spa at the end of last season, so certainly... Tom Dillon and company have access to an excellent lineup, and they've used it really well in the recent history. And David Martin will be hoping to get another really, really strong result. Could we see Reading Game on the podium again here at the Nordschleife? It would be a long shot, especially with the likes of Iris and Mugen hogging the top spots, really. But certainly into the points, and Valet could be in reach. We'll have to see as he goes through the Schumacher S, does David Martin. And always hard to tell, because it feels like the Grand Prix part is one of the easier parts of the layout, isn't it, Martin? As we look at Bradley Sellers a bit further up the road in the Rookie Monsters car. Oh, twitching off and going straight off into the barrier. And well, that's the end of that attempt. So it looked like it just went very wrong very quickly there.
Unfortunate for Bradley Sellers there. Looking at David Martin, watching him go through the Schumacher S's, he kept his foot on the pedal there. That was a fantastic line through there, because I will say the LMP2, even though it is a very fun car to drive, especially on on the Nordschleife. It's also kind of scary in a sense because you want to keep your foot down to on the pedal as much as you can, and especially through in the Grand Prix part, the Schumacher S is kind of a life or death kind of situation, 50-50. You never know if the grip is going to be there, if
Well,
you're going to
especially
just
in the
slide.
rain as well. But luckily, no rain forecast for the 4 hours today.
Awesome, awesome. We like to hear that. Right. I think
We had a lot of rain at Silverstone as well. At my end, when where I was watching the race, we had snow. So, but
you
not
know
on track, of course.
it's already hard enough to drive this track dry in the dry. Probably driving this in the wet. I have not never personally have attempted that myself, and I don't. And I right now I am planning on not doing that. But these guys are definitely putting in the times here. David Martin, of course, he's just starting the actual Nordschleifer part not too long ago. I'm trying to figure out
Yeah,
where
we're
he's at.
seeing Martin at 240.159. And that is the fastest of all the people setting times at the moment because we've got Thomas Jaeger in the 36 HHR. As we look at an onboard of David Martin doing his business on track, going through the middle sector here. So Jaeger at 259 in the first sector, Mary Valencia in the GD3 sitting at 258. It was actually Nick Conan, sorry, who set at 240. So these are all the sort of GD3 tailenders that have just set first sector sort of times. And it's definitely Nick Conan for Fring of Bond 140, looking the most promising. But I actually believe I'm mistaken there. David Martin is still in the first sector here.
This track is
Yet
so
to
hard.
cross the splits. But here we go into this. Looks like the Caracciola S, which is of course a very challenging part of the circuit with the elevation. It's almost like a bank. I know he's coming into Caracciola S, of course, because there's a little chicane before that. This is Caracciola S, much higher speed than I remember. But here we go. There's this weird banking as they go into the sort of this main straight part, where the course kind of bends in a little bit like an oval. If you know what I mean. I've not described that very well at all. But
Well, it definitely has. You could definitely not from person. I don't know from personal experience, but there's probably some G forces going through that turn, like you see at Daytona on the oval part. Um, but the tricky thing about this track is just remembering every single corner, um, where where each corner is, and sometimes you might forget where you're at, and you just got to send it, and that's you can just see here with David Martin. He's keeping his foot on the gas, keeping it going through here, not backing down, especially through some of these turns. Some of these turns might feel just a little bit sketchy, but getting
and
onto
David
the
Martin
limit
has set
there.
a 233.0, which is pretty solid actually. As Nick Conan has actually gone a 15th overall, and I'm not sure what that is
Ooh,
in the.
look,
Oh yeah, there we go. A little mistake there from David Martin. As I
yeah,
was.
little squirreliness coming through that first carousel, and like I said, you want to keep it on the bottom through there, and because if you get up in the top there, there's just nothing. There's no grip, and it's not going to be a good time. Zoltan Toth.
Yeah, Top has set a 216 in
Ooh,
096 in the first sector. So Zoltan really pushing actually, and he's going through a lot of the same bits of track that we just saw. I think David Martin
he,
negotiate.
he was quicker than Moynier, who had a 216.325. Zoltan Toth a 216.096. So clearly almost 3/10 up.
Oh no, that's Moinio. Sorry. There we go. See what the view is like in the cockpit of the Nordschleife from an LMP1 car. You wouldn't really have an LMP1 going through the Nordschleife in its current state, really, because it's just way too unsafe for a car with this level of speed and downforce. But of course, in R-Factor 2, we can do that as we go through the little mini carousel part there. So I think Zoltan Tov, if I understand correctly, yeah, here we go. He's going towards the end of the lap then. Yeah, here we go onto the back straight then. The big Audi sports sign.
He's at a 149.3 in sector
He's a bit
2.
slower than Moynier in the second sector, so this is really nip and tack for second place then in the LMH order as we go into the last minute and a half. So everyone on a lap, you may as well finish it now. Let's see what we can get here. So I think who's that behind in 25th? That's Martin, of course, who's actually behind Zoltan Toff on the road now as Toff goes towards the final corner. What's this going to be? Is this going to get him onto second on the grid? Yes, it is. There we go. Just a second faster than Loic Meunier's best effort. So good effort by Toff there, but still 3.5 seconds slower than Jansen Bintz, who set a stellar lap earlier on. And Martin must be coming towards the timing screen now. So there's Hallam Voice. Martin, there we go. He's just crossed the line in 7th place in the LMP2 order. So Reading Game did get themselves a bit further into the top 10. He was only 3 tenths behind Mateusz Guzowski in the number 40. That would be the Roy Tunn racing car, driven by Roy Tunn and friends. So who's next across the line? It would be the car in 26th at the moment, which is this guy, Tar Canhale, in the 127. New entry, I believe, the 127. Not sure, it's not seen him in action too much. Although they might have been at Silverstone and then not got very far. I don't remember. Here we go. 9th at the moment. Where are they going to get themselves in the GD3 order? 7th. So they gain 2 positions. But 19 seconds off the pace of the GD3 field, though. And then we got, I believe, the 10th place driver, Fabien Ballet, of course, in the 33 Valet. Powers towards the line. What's this going to be? It's pole in LMP2 for the 33 at the last dash by Fabien Ballet. Superb effort by the 33 Valet. And only by 4 tenths from Valente, though. So Alessandro Valente will be a bit annoyed about that. And so will the entire Iris team, I'm sure, Adam. Losing a potential 1-2 there with the 33. Just getting it together with a superb lap at the end. Let's have a look at the split times there. And Toff, by the way, set the purple final sector 42.714. Only a little bit faster than Bintz's best effort. So I think Toff will be a big threat in the race. As we see the everyone else just finishing their laps now. I don't think anyone else was on a particularly fast one. So we are looking potentially at the final grid order.
And this is what makes this qualifying super interesting because, you know, this is...
Oh, of course, because some of these would have crossed the line before the checkered flag came out. So we're actually technically still in qualifying, aren't we?
Yeah,
Toff might be having another run. Toff, I don't think he's given up on pole just yet.
Did he get out in time? Was he able to...
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. My memory isn't so good. Someone in chat will probably tell us.
Yeah, but I'm kind of quite interested to see, is Bailey out there?
I think the checker came out for Ballet, so I think Ballet finished. As Varconi has actually just set a faster lap time than him and taken LMP2 pole while I was looking at his teammate in Vaughan.
Okay then. Well, obviously, still more action happening in LMP2s. So yeah, Zoltan Toth is really the man who's just trying to take the overall pole and class pole here at ERC. And oh no!
Oh well, no. He certainly won't now because that's that.
That is that's the end of that.
So we only see a couple of cars. I say a couple. There's like 5 or 6 still circulating. Joseph Toff in 11th, who told me that he was going to try and cut as many corners as possible. Well, that may be being slightly uncharitable there, but Poole Street Boys driver Zoltan Toff, second at the moment in GT3. This is one of their best qualifying of the season. I think the Poole Street Boys really like this track because they, I'm pretty sure they took pole or got near to taking pole in the touring car race as well. Look how wide Toff goes there. 3 seconds behind Thomas Abascal the Rascal, as I like to call him, into the points number 48. So it looks like they're going to take over a GD3 pole, unless Toff can do something about that. Let's look at Toff's sector times.
He has improved. He is not quicker, though.
Yeah, he's about a second slower than in each sector as well. So we'll have to see if he can make a brilliant final sector here and overcome the into the points racing car. But let's go on board through that little final chicane. And you hear the rev limiter going like crazy as well, especially the touring cars. A little bit less so for the LMPs. As through we go. That last chicane before rejoining the GP loop. This could be the final big surprise of qualifying. Can Paul Street Boy sneak away GD3 pole position as he powers towards the line? Does Joseph Toff?
No.
No. Improves a little bit, but 2.4 off the pace. So actually, I think he may have a lost time, in fact. But there you go. So who's left on track then? There's a couple of guys. Perikian is still out there, actually, I think. Oliver Perikian.
Nope, he's came back.
Oh no, he's done. So I think they might be picking up people going back to the pit lane. Sismiada is showing is still on track in 11th place. And Sismiada set personal best times, but he's about he's a little bit slower than David Martin in front of him. But Martin did fall back down into the top 10 in the LMP2 field in the end. Let's see what Sismiada can do here. This is the Paul Street Boys LMP2, of course. With Paul Street Boy is the last-ditch effort here that we're getting to watch. Neat and tidy through the final chicane. He might just sneak into the top 10 here if he's got a brilliant final sector. Let's see. Sismiada's going to be the last man over the line then. And it's not quite good enough. 7:20, so he's a bit quicker. I believe Thomas Jaeger might still be on a lap. I think he might be. Hallam Boyce as well. So let's have a look. Where is Hallam? Here he is. So Hallam will finish first, followed by Jaeger. And Jaeger will be the last man over the line, in fact. At least in GD3, I believe. Here we go. Voice in the 206 Ferrari. Hallam Boyce we have seen before. 9th in GD3, which isn't too bad, to be honest. By the... up to 6th, which is even better. Only 9 seconds off the pace, of course, but with such big gaps. He's just beaten Joe Gostistis in the Reading Game 27. So a great lap, actually, by Hallam Boyce. And now we just wait for Thomas Jaeger, who I believe is the last one. Here he is, 4th in class in the Callaway Corvette number 36 for Team HHR.
He did improve in the middle sector there and was quicker than Valencia.
Yeah, so Mario Valencia in 3rd, the man he's trying to beat at the moment. I don't think pole is really an offer for HHR. I think Abascal has done enough. But can the Callaway Corvette slide its way up through this final chicane and gain a couple of places here and get into the top 3? They power towards the line. What's this going to be? The last man in qualifying, the last man over the line. It's not good enough. It's still 4th for Thomas Jaeger as everyone else returning to the pit lane. So, let's have a look at our qualifying session results, shall we? So, do you want to do the LMP1 order, Adam?
Yeah, Jason Binns picking up pole position with that stellar lap of a 6:44.4. Zoltan Toth in P2 was almost there, but clearly has some more pace that they can definitely find in that car. Loic Moynier in P3. Kale
Listola, yes.
Listolia in 4th place, 13 seconds off of Bin's time, and Bradley Stellers in 5th position.
And then, of course, we shouldn't really have it mixed, should we? But I just wanted to make the LMP1 field look bigger than it actually was. Here's the LMP2 starting grid. It is Zoltan Varconi for Mugen Sim Racing, number 21. Winners last time at Silverstone. Again, their season's well and truly back underway. But only by 2/10 from Fabian Ballet. So it was a really late effort by both Ballet and Varconi there. And Fabian Ballet falling just short there. So I think we're going to have an excellent battle between the top 4 here. Iris, number 66, Valente, just ahead of Tobias Blumschein by 2/10 there. So all the top 4 within a top 5 actually, with Oliver Perikian putting together a great effort in the 46. Then there's Felix Neuberger for Bodling Motorsports, number 28, 2.9 off the pace. Mia Levers for Frinavon 139 in 7th, 5 seconds off the pace. Then it is Guzowski for Royton Racing, number 40. in 8th place. Jan Donze in the 42 takes 9th. David Martin in reading game number 72 rounds out the top 10. Then we have a few more LMP2 runners we should be seeing in just a moment, but unfortunately, there we go. Richard Sismiada takes 11th for Paul Street Boys 758. Nick Conan in the Frinavon 140 is 12th, and Michael Cole for Into the Points number 47 rounds out the LMP2 field in 13th, 69 seconds off the pace. So Michael Cole not quite getting a representative time together then. Finally, if my overlay will play ball, we'll get to see the GD3 field. Bear with us, ladies and gents. Might have to come back in.
As Lando Norris once said, it's broken.
No, it's not broken. My machine just keeps lagging out. There we go. Finally, it'll let me actually make inputs. Thomas Abascal, of course, for Into the Points, number 48, takes pole position 8 minutes, 5 second 0.9, which is really strong, actually. 2.4 seconds faster than Paul Street Boys. So really, in the with the championship leaders gone, the way is clear for Into the Points to and Paul Street Boys to battle it out for victory. But fourth in the championship, the 444, driven by Mario Valencia, 4 seconds down. They'll be looking to get ahead at the start and gain some real ground in the championship. Then it's Tamas Yeager for in the 36, Tibor Kiss in the number 16 Royal Racing car. Hallam Voice in the 206 Ferrari, seeing a really good lap late on. Joe Gostistis for reading game 27, starts 7th. 14 seconds off the pace though. Then we've got Tar Canhal in the 127. Philip Mayer in the 94. That's the Royal Racing 94, sorry. 28 seconds off the pace, so a little bit unrepresented time. And then Benz Horvath in the 86 will hopefully get the chance to start the race. I don't think he was the only GD3. Ricardo Riva for EFA Racing Team also not getting a lap together. So they decided, well, we'll just do a few sighters and we'll do the real work in the 4 hours. So there we go then. And
it's really not about how you start, it's how you finish. And especially on this track, it's going to be about patience and making the correct passes at the right time. Because one mistake will end your day, and especially for the prototype classes, they have to be so cautious when weaving around this GT3 traffic, because the last thing they want to do is take out a GT3, and the last thing that a GT3 wants to do is take out a prototype. So it's going to be a very interesting race. Hopefully we don't get any code 80s, but it's never a guaranteed thing here at EERC. I think we've only made it one race with maybe one code 80.
yeah, I think I think Silverstone we had some code 80s quite late on. But yeah, certainly Barcelona had loads of code 80s. So yeah, I think it's very rare. It's only certain kinds of tracks. Ironically, with the track being so long, I think people might be a bit more careful, and it might reduce the code 80 amount that we see. But anyway, I guess we're in warm-up now, so I'm going to take a very quick break now for lunch, because we've still got 18 minutes to go before the race starts. So I hope that's okay with you, Adam. We might just put the stream onto the B-roll. And
I'm all right with that. I will step off as well and prepare myself for an intense 4 hours here.
Yeah, we'll be back at 2 o'clock UK time. Although, what is that going to be in... what's 18 minutes time for you, Adam, in the US?
I'll be good.
What time is it going to be for you?
Actually, it will be. It's currently 7:42 in the morning for me. So
okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us so early, because I know it's not.
It's a beautiful sunshiny day here, so why not wake up and enjoy?
True, it's quite nice here as well, and at the Nordschleife. So
it's a great day all around. So
yeah, so we'll be back soon in about 15 minutes time. But it's for now. It is of course. A Valet on pole in LMP1, Mugen on pole in LMP2, and Into the Points on pole in GD3.
Okay, whisper test, whisper test. Please let me know that you can hear me okay.
All right, I can hear you.
Moving to the race session.
Hello and welcome back to the 4 hours of Nordschleife, the Green Hell, as Jackie Stewart would call it. And could it become the Green Heaven for the winners of our 3 different classes here, of course, being LMP1, LMP2, and GD3. We just had qualifying, which concluded a short time ago. And look at that, all 170 corners there of the Nordschleife in their full glory, including the sort of truncated Grand Prix loop. Now, the start procedure is about to get underway, of course, with the LMP1s being led off first, followed by the LMP2s and the GD3s. There you see Jansen Bintz taking up pole position from Zoltan Toff, Loic Meunier, and Cal Listola.
Please do not move off when the lights go out.
So the car's been told to remain stationary. Bradley Slur's in 5th, of course, rounding out the LMP1 field. Then it
LMP1s
is
proceed on pit limit a single
pole
file.
LMP2 for Zoltan Varconi, who will be going separately to the MP1s. There they go. And from Varconi, it's Ballet, Valente, Blumschein, of course. The 2 Iris cars, the 77 and 66, are together. Oliver
LMP2s proceed on
Perikian
pit limit a single
in
file.
5th, ahead of Felix Neuberger,
The into
Mia
the points
Levers,
car, you can join
and
the
then
back of the
Mateusz
LMP2 field.
Gruzowski in 13th. Then Jan Donze, David Martin, Richard Sismiada. And just behind them is David Martin. No, of course, it's Nick Conan, of course.
And GTs proceed
Rounding
single
out
file
the
pit limiter.
LMP2 field. Then in GD3, we have Thomas Abascal on pole position for into the points from Joseph Toff and Mario Valencia. Thomas Jaeger, ahead of Tibor Kiss and Hallam Voice. Joe Gostistis. Mikael Cole will start 25th in the middle of the pack, apparently, despite being LMP2. Then there's Tar Canhal, Philip Mayer, Ricardo Riva, and Bence Horvath, 29th and last in the 86, with Riva and Horvath failing to set times. So there we go. The LMP1 field waiting to be released, and we should see them being cutting off a significant portion of the lap and just starting on the GP loop. That way, I assume it's just so the cars don't get released into the Nordschleife. A little sort of safety procedure there, but you see Toff right behind Bintz, and Mugen yet to win in LMP1 this season. You can tell they really want... Valet yet to win either, to be fair. They've come very close at Silverstone. Came close in Barcelona before an accident dropped them out, unfortunately. It's Iris and Coach Eric. Coach Eric, I believe, have left the championship now. Who are the 2 winners so far. And you can't count out Moynier either. Listola and Sellers, I think they're in a battle with each other, really. Given their qualifying pace, it's really a freeway battle in LMP1. The LMP2s have been released as well, but we will watch the LMP1s first, just to make sure. And Adam, Ryan, are you there joining us?
Yes, indeed, I am.
Oh, great, Ryan. If you can help with the LMP2 start. And maybe if Adam gets back in time, he can do GD3s. But Bint's still leading the way of the field. And we should see here.
There'll be an extra formation lap. My R factor has crashed. Just go around the GP loop and do another lap.
Okay, there we go. So the race direction instructing Jansen Bintz and the
R factor moment.
Yeah, exactly. R factor moment, as they say in the race direction. So we will have to bear. You have to bear with us then. So we'll have to wait a bit longer, Ryan, before you can get to see the fearsome North. Yeah, they would turn off to the left there, but instead, through the cones they go to the right. And will this count as a corner cut? I hope not. But
yeah. All drivers end up getting some form of time penalty for cutting the corner.
Well, it's certainly making the timing glitch because it's showing the LMP1s all behind the LMP2s and GD3s now, which is ever so slightly confusing. But we'll keep an eye on the LMP1s for now. And look at that, you can see the LMP2s in the background. I think the GD3s are just about to come through that section of track as well. Shall we have a brief look at what's going on behind then? Yeah, it's looking a bit Yeah, the timing screens are completely not coping with them all having cut a significant portion of the track. There you go, there's a Baskel leading the GT3 class. First pole, I think, for Into the Points in any class. So they've got, of course, Friend 444 and Paul Street Boys 753 behind them. Paul Street Boys very close to taking pole off of them, actually. Just falling short at the end by about 2 seconds, of course. But not as close to some of the other classes, but certainly a Baskel, who we've seen a real star in GT3. With all the top 3 in the championship absent from this round in GT3. Of course, with Satellite Racing 64 and Arnage Competition. But I think both of them, because of the prize money being withdrawn due to the one of the sponsors was impacted by the war in Ukraine. So they had to withdraw prize money, and unfortunately, I think Arnage and Satellite Motorsport were pretty clear that no money, no party. And I think Mugen just withdrew their GT3 field because I want to focus on the top 2 classes. So it certainly means GT3 is now wide open and a big opportunity, especially for the 444 car driven by Valencia. And some of these new teams, of course. We see Jaeger in the 36 Corvette in 4th position. And we see the 27 Aston Martin of Reading Game in 7th as well, hoping to impress, of Joe Gostistis. LMP2 there, it's basically, it was 2 very late laps by, Valente was on pole for a long time, and then Fabien Ballet took pole, then we had it stolen off him almost as quickly by Zoltan Varconi, who put together a monster run, but it was very close, the top 5 all within a second in LMP2. And Varconi, after the 21, won at Silverstone, after a really disappointing Barcelona, where I think they only finished 5th or something like that in class. It will really be looking to be a big comeback for last year's LMP2 champions, of course, Mugen. But certainly lots of action to look forward to. And Valet looking very strong in both the prototype classes, 2nd and 1st in LMP2 and LMP1 respectively. So going around to do another lap, and hopefully Resurrection will have sorted out the R-Factor issues that caused the PC to crash. We could be seeing a few more cones being knocked over here, Ryan.
Well, hopefully the cones are now out the way after they've had 3 waves of classes going through them. But we'll soon find out. Yep, there's a nice little LMP.
Okay, LMP1s, double file, prepare for green.
There we go. So they are going into formation. All 5,
LMP1, green flag.
There we go. So we should probably reset as there we go. Bince leads away, and actually it
LMP2's double file, prepare for green.
Yeah, and Moynier is on the outside here. Looks like the Fring
And
of On
LMP2, green
made
flag.
a good start, but let's have a look at LMP2. Where is
LMP GT's double file, prepare for green.
There we go. So there is Blumshine trying to go through the man. Oh, making contact. So Varconi had a horrible start there, and it looks like Valet have taken the lead in LMP2 from Iris 2nd and 3rd, and into the points on the outside there. Tobias still fighting
GT3,
away.
green flag.
And the time screen's not being particularly helpful. But there we go. Baskel is unleashed in GD3 there, and Valencia and Toff side by side there. And it looks like the Corvette trying to get on this too, Ryan.
Yes, and one on the grass going
That's
wide.
Toff going really, really wide there, and Baskel going all over the curb, all of them over the curb there. Whoa, my goodness. And, looks like Paul Street Boys are going for the lead. And Joseph Toff did say he was going to try and cut across the grass as much as he could get away with, and just has to think better of that. But it's still the top 3 starting to pull away there in GD3 then, with Toff continuing to chase down into the points car. But let's have a look up front then. It is still Bintz leading Toff as they go into the... here we go, they're just entering the Nordschleife loop now, of course. And Toff really under pressure from Moynier, as Valente continues to challenge Ballet for the lead in LMP2 as well, just a few miles behind this. But Moynier will be looking to clear the 21 as soon as possible so they can, Iris and Valet can resume their battle from the 8 hours of Silverstone. And it certainly looks like Valet pulling away in the hands of Fabien Ballet. Ballet, oh dear. But there we go, look how far ahead he is already, just nearly a whole second up the road. But Luc Meunier is certainly going to throw everything he's got here at the 21 and but certainly Top is going to be a bit of a roadblock here, at least in this first lap, as he tries to hold on, basically. Was there a little twitch there for Moynier as he went over the crest?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a twitch, but it wasn't.
Well, as Adam joins us.
It wasn't too much of a bad twitch, though. It looks like he kept the car straight, so...
Yeah, here we go. This is the LMP2 lead battle with Valente right behind. And it looks like Tobias Blumschein has hit trouble and dropped down to 5th then on this first lap already. Although he has just him and Varconi having a great little battle themselves. And
Yeah.
it looks like... There we go, yeah. So Tobias has just cleared Varconi, and that is Felix Neuberger in the bottling mode. It's the bright green car behind them. But yeah, Varconi from the lead, from pole position, having a pretty awful start. I think he just got caught out on the getaway, didn't he? On the call to go to green flag. And Neuberger really challenging here. But where on earth can Neuberger make a move here? Especially up here, it's so narrow. The track only about 8 and 9 meters wide at certain points. I think it has been widened since the early days, on the straights at least. Let's have a look at the track map so I can remember where on earth everybody is. Looks like they're all going through. I see. Yeah, so Bintz is just going up to the first split. So he's in Exmühl and Ausfahrt Breitschild at the moment, as we look at Varconi continuing to be under pressure.
Indeed, and this is something that we don't see in real life. We don't see prototype cars go around the Nordschleife
No,
anymore.
because usually they're way too fast and have too much downforce.
Yeah, so this is utter madness if this was real life, but thanks to sim racing, we can do it.
Yeah, the madness is unleashed. Yes, thanks to R Factor 2 and other racing platforms. Of course, there are other games that have the Nordschleife as well, but R Factor 2 thankfully being one of them. Let's have a look at the GD, because usually it's always on the first couple laps that the GD3 battle is the most, as we see Bence Horvath in the 86 from the very rear of the grid has just got ahead of Mario Valencia and up to 3rd. So very impressive from the Iris 86, I think.
Yeah,
It looks like an Iris to me that he's driving.
Valencia looking a little bit scrappy through there, making a few lockups, running wide through corners.
Losing his composure, most certainly, Ryan.
Yep, and that's what Horvath has managed to do and get past him.
So now Paul Street Boys up ahead, and this could be a big opportunity for the 86 to really get that championship underway, because they've really not had a great time of it so far. And Horvath has had an incredible first lap, it must be said, although the length of the Nordschleife has perhaps allowed him to get more time to gain places. As Perikian in the 46, it looks like Valente has dropped behind and actually in real trouble now up ahead. So I'm not sure what's happened there. Let's have a look. The overlay lagging on my end, so it's taking like 30 seconds to register any of my inputs. Here he is. So Valente now behind, that looks like Varconi in front of him. And Blumschein Perikian now, the closest challenger to Fabian Bale, who is starting to pull a bit of a gap. And it looks like Tobias is actually really starting to put pressure on Perikian up ahead, or at least he was up until I cut to him. Sadly, LMP2 getting very, very mixed up as the LMP1 field starts to spread out slightly. Toff now 4.6 seconds behind Jansen Bintz. Oh, somebody kicking up a bit of dust there.
Yeah, I think that was Bally that was doing...
Ballet's certainly pushing for all he's worth to build as big of a gap to Oliver Perikian as he can. The yellow in sector 2. But, yeah, no sign yet of what that's about.
Yeah, and interestingly, the rules state that if you find yourself in a position where you can't safely get the car back, then you have to retire. So, I guess you need to be a bit more careful.
Yeah, speaking of being careful, Horvath has made a mistake, I think. Because he's got right behind Hallam Voice, and Hallam Voice spins, and Horvath goes off as well. So, Thomas Jaeger now gets up to 4th, and oh, look at that, Hallam Voice getting it very, very wrong indeed. And that steering, I imagine, is very bent right now. Let's have a look on board if we can see if it's crabbing to the right, I think. Yes, look at that. That does not look like a healthy Ferrari at all. But
got
there we
a
go. There
long
goes
way to
the set
go.
the 27 reading game.
Yeah.
To 8th. So yeah, just a huge mistake there by almost not really. Wasn't really Bent Horvath's fault there, but he must have made a mistake earlier. And look at Horvath. He's not crabbing anywhere near as bad, but I don't think that Iris is quite making the progress it was in the opening phase of the race.
Well, he's going to have to be very careful with all the traffic coming behind him. He doesn't want to get caught up in anything, so he's got a long ways to go still as well to get back to the pit lane.
And of course, with it being 4 hours, we may... When we
Can
did,
the Royal Racing Car retire, please?
that would be a Hallam voice then. Yeah, there we go. It's being asked to retire in the dark black Royal Racing car, so they clearly don't think it can get back to the pits in its current state. There's still Philip Mayer behind him, who is... oh no, Philip Mayer is retired himself. The 94 was the Royal Racing car. That's the one that's retired, sorry.
I was going to say, I thought that would be a bit harsh of race direction because he doesn't appear to be spinning. He is going slowly, but he's gently making progress back to pit lane.
So the first lap is completed then. 13 minutes 50 for Jansen Bintz. Of course, that's not helped by the aborted having to go through the Grand Prix loop a couple of times, basically, which I guess invalidated those laps. So as we look at bottling, that looked like Newberger giving Valente a bit of trouble behind. Yeah, there we go. Bottling have had their moments in this championship. We're in the big fight for 4th, I think, and 3rd in LMP2 at Silverstone before dropping back at the end. But they've certainly been getting a few points here and there and have led races on occasion. As here we go, they're rejoining the Nordschleife, and Newberger goes through that the Hasenbeck's-Boden chicane. Goes through turn 13, and there's a yellow in the first sector. So is one of the LMP1s or LMP2s up ahead in trouble then? Or is that just poor old Hallam Voice struggling to get back to the pits? I thought he would be out of Sector 1 by now, but...
Voice is actually coming through the back straight right now and will be almost to the pit lane.
Yeah, 5 seconds now the gap between Bintz and Toff in the overall lead. As Loic Mounier has actually had a horrible moment there, because he's somehow dropped to the very back of the LMP1 field and is now challenging Cal Listola for 4th. So Bradley Sellers up to 3rd and on the podium. So Iris, championship leaders, let's not forget, making a big error at this early stage. And now Cal Listola is really under pressure here. Here we go. Nowhere to pass here, is there? He has to wait until they get to one of the wider parts of the circuit, or for Cal Listola to make a mistake in the 137. And look at this. Cal Listola not getting a great run, and that camera angle not giving us a good angle of what's going on. But I think Cal Listola, it's really a matter of when he's going to pass, not if. As Oliver Perikian has actually got into
he's down
the
the
lead.
inside and he's through.
There we go. And that would look like Cal Listola going very wide there. But there we go. Fabio Ballet has also made a mistake, pushing too hard in the 33. And Oliver Perikian now takes the lead. So this puts Ballet into the clutches of Tobias Blumschein, who's looking very fired up at the moment, and Valconi, who's been, of course, recovering. So we got the top 6 here, I think, in LMP2, all within 3 seconds, which is very impressive, actually, after the first lap. So I think LMP2 is going to be very hotly contested indeed, as the gap's starting to spread out. Murray Valencia just under a second behind Toff in the battle for second, but 4.5 seconds the gap that Pascal has over Toff in the GD3 battle.
Perkin's really starting to stretch his legs now.
Yeah, of course, but that's what we thought about Ballet as well. Ballet still with the fastest lap in class, of course. 14 minutes 23, I think. Or 28, sorry. But of course, that's mainly because it was the first lap. But yeah, Ballet might have been the person who had that off that I noticed in the first sector.
Yeah, I did notice that his... it doesn't look like there's too much wrong with the car, but I think it's taken a bit of time to get his composure back, as he was running wide through some corners, making some minor mistakes.
Yeah, certainly. So Valconi challenging Blumschein challenging Ballet. So it's a very close fight for second now. And this is the closest fight on track, really, between these 6. But it's really going to be a case of the 2 Iris cars trying to work together to make sure they don't lose time in this stint, I think. And you got the Mugen into the points and the bottling car all out for themselves. They haven't really got a teammate help them out. As a like Newberger's actually gotten by Valente.
And
There, very briefly actually, because I think that's Valente having got back through.
yeah, it just seems Valente's pace that he had from qualifying that's put him up there. It seems to have dropped off in this early part of the race.
But it didn't look like he had damage, so I'm not sure. Let's have a look on board with Ballet, see if his steering looks alright. Looks okay to me. Maybe he just had a little off. But got away with any minor contact with the barrier or something. But certainly here, this phase in the second sector is not where you want to go off, because the barrier is very close to the circuit in certain sections here, especially on near the carousel and places like that. But
I think anywhere on the Nordschleife you don't
Yeah.
really want to go off. The only places that are okay is the Grand Prix, where you've got nice long runoff spaces.
yeah, indeed, because it's obviously designed with the fairly recent modern F1 cars in mind, because also you haven't been to the Nürburgring in quite a few years. As Ballet also goes a bit wide, and this could open the opportunity for Blumschein to attack as they get towards the end of Sector 2. I'm surprised, because after the touring car race, I'm so used to it taking like 10 minutes to do a lap, and now we're 15 minutes into the race now, and we've gone almost 2 laps now. In fact, I think the LMP1s have done almost 2 laps.
Yes, indeed. And I think they've gone through the carousel a second time now.
Yeah, there we go. This has been just about to start. Oh, there we go. And going into the pit lane goes Jansen Bintz. So we cut just at the right time. There seems to be some kind of trouble there for the 23, the race leader, as Toff now assumes the lead. This is a very early stop, actually, for Jansen Bintz. Do you think that the tyres are going, or do you think there's something more terminal here?
I'm not quite sure, because the top 5 at the moment are all on the same compounded tyre. Toff's obviously just done the fastest lap. But yeah, this is a strange one. Have they underfueled the car, potentially, from qualifying?
Oh, I don't see why they would do that. I think there must have been some kind of issue. I think that there may be some kind of accident damage for the 23 as it drops to last in class now. There we go. So Valet losing the lead in LMP2, and now in big trouble, it seems, in LMP1, unless, of course, this is part of some kind of unorthodox strategy. Hitting at the end of lap 2.
Possibly, it might explain how Bintz managed to.
Because it looked
pull
like
the
Toff
gap.
had caught up right up to him and cut the gap before he came in the pits through that last. So it wouldn't surprise me if he made a mistake, hit the barriers at the final chicane, and that was where we saw him in the wall. So that would of course be Hohenrain or Tiergarten. Felix Newberg is also pitting just behind. There he is in LMP2. So that drops him out of that battle for 6. That might be how Valente got back through. Still very close together, of course. And is Bintz going to come out in the middle of that LMP2 scrap? No, he isn't. He's going to come out behind it, of course.
That's going to be a world of pain for Bintz then, because he's going to catch, most likely with the speed that he's got, he's probably going to catch the back end of this group during this lap. And yeah, like we've already found out, there's not exactly much room to pass around this circuit.
Yeah, Valente's dropped about 2 seconds behind the second place battle trio, which is Varconi, Blumschein, Ballet. Varconi continuing to put pressure on Tobias Blumschein as he in turn tries to put pressure on Ballet. So looks like Alessandro Valente can't be of much help really to his teammate right now, who's sort of a sandwich, in the middle of a sandwich rather. As Sellers now 15 seconds behind Toff, so Toff now leads by quite a margin. As GD3, meanwhile, the gap remaining roughly the same. As look at how tight they bunch up into turn 13 there as they rejoin the Nordschleife and go by all the little trucks and service roads. And another off-track moment for Ballet. So certainly looking like we actually cut back to Bintz for some reason. Which is not what I meant to do, as he's just gotten by Sismiada, I think. Here we go.
Good to see Ben's back on track, though.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't look like the steering was too damaged. It looks like the 46, Oliver Parakian, going, kicking up a bit of dust for his friends in the back there. As he tries to pull away. 1.6 seconds the gap now. And look at this. Blumschein having a look as they go down to Flugplatz. as a Baskel sets the new fastest lap of the GT3 class, trying to balloon out the gap to 6.3 seconds over Toff. And it certainly looks like Into the Points have got the edge on the Paul Street boys.
Just the slipstream that you can get just through this section of the course, you can, you know...
Yeah, through
get
Arenberg
right
and Ballet going wide as they go under the bridge. This could be the moment, the opportunity that Tobias Blumschein's looking for. And he's got a great view of the rear of that bright yellow Valet. And Iris looking to get another step on the podium. If he can clear Ballet, then he's definitely got a great chance of taking his first victory, Tobias, for the 77.
Oh, Pirukan up ahead just took a massive chunk of curb, and he's actually lost a bit of time there.
Yeah, here we go. So let's keep our eyes glued to this LMP2 battle as they go all the way through Adenauer Forst and approaching Fuchstor. Yeah, here we go. This is going to be the tight twisties. So we got Calenhad, Versiphen, X-Mule, Alsvat, Brishield to come. So here we go through this tight twisty section. So it's crucial not to drop it now. Or anywhere indeed, as you said earlier, Ryan. And look at Ballet, really. The rear almost looking like it wanted to let go there.
It just seems like Bally's car doesn't want to turn when where he wants it to in some corners. It just seems to drift wide mid-corner.
Yeah, here we go through the Caracciola S. After Rudolph Caracciola Blumschein lets the rear hang out there. Barconi not far behind either, so we've got to keep an eye on all three of these guys. Thrilling to watch though as they go back and forth. You can tell there are some parts where the cars are set up for one part of the course and other parts where it favours the other car as well. As Blumschein once again closes in, Bintz has gotten past Emil Evers. He's continuing to chew through the MP2 field. He can even catch these guys before the end of the lap now. He's only about 53 seconds behind David Martin, I think. 53 seconds might be a bit much, actually, even for him, as Blumschein continuing to weave and look for an opening. But it's not happening so far. Fabian Ballet holding firm, trying to keep in touch with Oliver Perikian. But Into the Points, leading GD3 and LMP2 at the moment. Oh, look at that! He spun at the carousel, and through goes Tobias Blumschein. Big mistake there by Fabian Ballet. And that's let Varconi through as well, actually. Has it hit Varconi side by side? They touch wheels! Oh, this is really tense now. A crucial mistake from Fabian Ballet, and at one of the worst places to do it as well. What do you think of that, guys?
Something about restarting the stream?
Ah, we out of this. Is the stream not working? Oh, I didn't realise that. No one had told me.
We will be restarting the stream, according to our producer, Tom. Trying to fix an audio glitch.
On my end, it's showing that we're still streaming, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Sounds like we're having an audio issue on the streaming end.
Valet. Oh, it's all gone horribly wrong for Valet number 33. As Fabian Ballet continues to struggle, I think that car's got steering damage now. Look at it. Crabbing a bit.
Still no Code 80 coming out, though, so